The Philadelphia Eagles showed us who they really were last night, but where do they go from here? The risk of even greater damage is right in front of our eyes. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly. Do me a favor, drop a like on these videos if you enjoy the content. Subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of the coverage. Shout out to everyone who tapped into our late night post-game show as I almost lost my mind. I'm sure all you did too. It's more of a feeling of disgust and disappointment as the Eagles have now fallen to 10-4. They've dropped 3 in a row and they lose in the final moments to Drew Lock and the Seattle Seahawks on the road. I don't know how you come back from this. I will tell you, though, it doesn't stop here. And I really think there will be some significant implications from this game. And I think looking forward, if things continue to trend this way, something big's going to happen. We'll talk about more of it. Give me all of your thoughts. How are you feeling, Eagle Nation, after such a disgusting performance, a putrid ending to that game last night? It was hard to sleep, honestly. Give me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments. Before we jump into all of it today, a shout out to our sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosts and odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. The rants do not stop. The rants do not stop. First off, let's talk about how bad the Eagles' offense is, right? You look at the stats, they had more yards, time of possession was better, right? Let's look at all of it. Let's look at all of it. This team, when you look at the stat sheet, they should have won this game. They should have won this game. Why didn't they, right? They were 9 for 16 on third down. It's pretty good efficiency, better than the Seahawks. Why didn't they win this game? Because the Eagles, first off, have no life, okay? And let's talk about the offense. We'll get to the defense. Though you better bet we'll get to the defense and Matt Patricia. But the Philadelphia Eagles have a plain offense. We've been saying it for weeks, all right? Christian McCaffrey was on the Manning cast, and this clip is going viral this morning. Christian McCaffrey literally called out the Eagles play before it happened. I said last night, any one of us, you on your couch, me, whoever, could call this play out. And this is one of the best players on a main competitor here in the NFC. And he knows exactly what the Eagles are running. I'm not going to play the play, but it was a 3rd and 6. By the way, one of my least favorite plays in this game where instead of doing something creative, right, some kind of motion or whatever, you have Jaylen empty in the backfield and Jaylen Herz ends up running a quarterback keeper and does not get it. Christian McCaffrey called it to a T. That is unacceptable. Brian Johnson has no creativity. He's a bad coordinator. It does not fall all on him, but Brian Johnson needs to go, all right? You got rid of the wrong coordinator. Maybe you should have got rid of the offensive play caller and switched it or brought somebody in. And Nick Sirianni, right? We remember a couple years back, his whole speech and, you know, like now you have to generate some magic. And I just don't know if you can do it, right? Before, Nick switched the play calling off of him onto Shane Steichen. That ended up being perfect. But who do you go to now, right? Because Eagles are not running good plays. The next culprit is Jaylen Herz. All right, it's time to talk about how bad Jaylen Herz has been. Because, you know, we're all riding this, oh, Jaylen Herz looked like an MVP last year, and he got one of the biggest contracts ever, and he's going to be a great staple for this franchise moving forward. I understand he didn't feel good last night. He had the flu game. You played through it. You were good enough to play through it. If you weren't good enough, don't play. But you played. You decided to suit up and try to help your team. And Jaylen Herz played absolutely terrible last night. And it's this. This is what is bothering me. Because 2 times in the fourth quarter, you had a 1st down and 10 from the 45 of your own. You're moving the ball swell. And you try to take the deep shot. The first one was to Quez Watkins. You throw it deep to the end zone. Quez doesn't even bother to fight for the route. He was getting held, by the way, which, again, officiating is what it is. Quez doesn't fight for it. Why would you throw that to the end zone when you had guys open in front of you? You had checkdowns. You had guys over the middle open. And then here's the final play with 10 seconds. and Kenneth Gainwell is wide open. All right, this makes absolutely no sense. This should never happen from a coaching standpoint, from a player perspective. Why are you throwing a ball 30 yards downfield just to get intercepted to lose the game when you have one of the best kickers in the NFL? Gainwell is getting yards here. He's going out of bounds. He's going to set up Jake Elliott for a really long attempt, and you put it in the hands of your kicker. But Jaylen Herz continues to miss reads. Has he regressed? Does he not know how to read the field anymore? Is he just off with the scheme of the offense? I think it's a combination of all three. And Nick Sirianni's not putting good play designs together either. Here's another view from it. Kenny Gainwell is wide open here on the left. He has all the room in the world. He can get out of bounds and put you in an optimal position. And look at Jaylen. Look at his hand. He's even telegraphing the pass every single play. He is staring down A.J. Brown now. Maybe that's a combination of both him not reading the field and A.J. wanting the ball more. And everybody knows where he's going. And he's telegraphing every pass. He doesn't even make it look like there's a decision to be had. And this is just a huge miss, and you lose the game here in Seattle. Here's another play earlier in the game. And ESP here says this is why the criticism of the offensive scheme is overblown. Here's another play earlier in the game. Has a guy wide open over the middle of the field, but he's looking towards A.J. Brown. He's looking towards A.J. Brown. He's not going to his checkdowns, right? We keep saying, why are they throwing the ball down the field, down the field, down the field? Maybe part of it is Jaylen doesn't want to go with the easy ones. Maybe he just wants to be a hero every single play. That is not how you win, right? You're moving the sticks. You have good rhythm. You're trying to get into that flow. And two big, brutal mistakes, and he continues to be a turnover machine. And it's not good. It's not good. But what Jaylen Herz said after the game was the final straw for me, okay? This game took out my damn soul. It left it at the feet of the 12th man, and I don't see a way they come back from this. I'm being completely honest. But even more confirmation to that point comes from Jaylen Herz himself. Because after the game, and I get it, he's not feeling well. Maybe he's not thinking straight. Maybe he's pissed off. This is what he says, quote, "I don't think we're all committed enough. Just got to turn it around. It's a challenge we have to embrace and continue to see it through. We're not committed enough." Then they asked him about that, and he says, "Oh, I don't have a dictionary." Kind of, alluding that he misspoke. I don't think he misspoke. I think he's speaking how he feels. I don't think anybody's committed enough, and that's why I think the Eagles are now in a more dangerous territory. There is greater risk of something huge happening here, and I'm talking about the firing of Nick Sirianni. All right, look, I'm just saying it. I'm not saying he's going to get fired this week or next week, whatever. If the Philadelphia Eagles lose to Tommy DeVito, which right now it looks like there's a good chance they could. If they lose to Jonathan Gannon and the absolutely disastrous Arizona Cardinals, we could see a shakeup. I'm not even kidding. Because again, 2 years ago, when the Eagles were down bad, they were 2-5. Things looked absolutely bad in the rookie year of Nick Sirianni and Jaylen Herz. Nick gave that whole flower speech and the roots and this and that, and they turned it around. He diverted his attention to something else, and he relinquished the play calling duties to Shane Steichen. What are you going to pull now? Where's the magic card now, right? What do you do when your guys are saying things like this? It sounds like people are not committed to the belief in this team. And Jeffrey Lurie, by the way, is not afraid to make a big shakeup. He fired a Super Bowl coach just 3 years after winning a Super Bowl. So, look, he is not averse to this type of stuff. And Nick Sirianni says it's on him that the Eagles have problems with fundamentals and situational football. Starts with him, which we've heard every single week. Eagles have scored 19 or less in 3 straight losses. And that brings me to my final point. You got rid of Sean Desai. You tried to scapegoat him, okay? And he was awful, right? He deserved to be probably demoted as well. But you singled out one guy and you set yourself up at risk, okay? You set yourself up at risk of this game being a choke, which it was, and now you have nowhere to go. What is your next move, right? Okay, you got rid of Sean Desai. You brought Matt Patricia in, who, by the way, was terrible. I know they only gave up 20 points, but we're talking about a backup quarterback, and he lets him go on a 92-yard drive to win the game. He leaves Bradbury alone on an island. By the way, Bradbury was awful last night. 8 targets, 7 catches. He looks like a shell of himself. He looks like he completely lost the mojo he had last year, and he's back to a couple years ago where they were saying this guy stunk. Eli Ricks and Ringo and Josh Jobe were 10 times better than Bradbury. He got cooked by a rookie with the game on the line. That just doesn't happen to winning teams. All right, the Eagles showed us who they were. They exposed themselves. And yes, maybe they were lucky to get some of these wins earlier this year because this is not a good football team. But you get rid of Sean Desai, you bring Matt Patricia in, and now you flop in your first game. What do you do? What do you do? Can't go back to Desai. Can't go back here. So you're going to stick with Matt Patricia. You're probably going to stick with Brian Johnson. This whole organization is in a chaotic stage. It feels a bit like 2020, where it's like they don't have any more buttons to press. Also, Darius Slay on Twitter last night, and I know he didn't play. Sure, the Eagles missed him, but like I said last week, I'm really getting frustrated with Darius Slay going on here and arguing with his Twitter fingers. Okay, there's guys calling him out saying he's not good. Why are you on Twitter after your team loses a big game? It seems like you don't give a crap about the team. That is the overall mentality I'm getting here from these players. He's arguing with a guy. He says, "Oh, I got 5 of those," talking about all pros, etc. And I probably got more interception yards than you have receiving. Slay, nobody gives a crap. The Eagles are literally down bad, and they're at the stake of maybe blowing things up. And you're out here arguing about individual stats. Nobody cares. There's no way they should have lost that game last night. And at the end of the day, man, they just don't have heart. They're gutless, and they don't have fight. And for a team that went to the Super Bowl last year, and I'll end it off with this, man. I was talking to my buddy this morning. I'm trying to figure out where it went wrong. Is it the coaching, instilling a new philosophy, right? Is it losing Shane Steichen? Was he that big of a loss? Do the Eagles' older vets, do the older talent, the guys that have been here, do they just have nothing left in the tank? Has Jaylen Herz regressed? Is it a combination of all of them? You got off running the football in this game. You had that mentality early. You brought a couple different unique looks on both sides of the ball, and then you absolutely go away from it. They go away from what works. Maybe it's a combination of all of it, but at the end of the day, Eagle fans have a big pit in their stomach right now. They are sick, and this Eagles team has lost all hope, and they are literally declining at the worst time of the season, and I just don't know what else to say. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Give me your thoughts down in the comments section. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. That being said, you guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.